Okay, so let's create a story. Let's create a story about a guy that was abducted by aliens, and let's try to make it as believable as possible. So back in the early 2000s, um, I was much younger, obviously, and I was the type of person that would sleep very late. Like I wasn't sleep deprived, but I just like to stay up at night. And I remember it was this one weird night. It was about midsummer, and I sat by the window, and I didn't really look out the window, but I happened to turn my head and see this bright light. I was thinking that it could have been a plane because where we lived at the time, uh, we lived not too far from an airport, so there was always planes coming in, but you actually was able to obviously hear the planes, and it was just this bright light, right? And as the light got closer, I didn't hear anything. But remember, I was so used to seeing planes going over, I never paid attention to it at all. I just sat in the window and kind of looked at it, and I was like, "Oh, that's a bright light." And I kind of wandered off and did whatever the hell I was doing that night, and just brushed it off. So the next night, I noticed the same exact light again. And this time I kind of started to pay attention to it a little more than I did the first time. And when I started paying attention to it, I started to realize that it was like coming towards me. Well, not me personally, but it was just coming towards my direction. And as it got closer, the light grew brighter. There was no sound. I didn't really get to see a shape because it was just too bright. And then it just kind of like flew overhead, like over my building where I was staying. And I thought to myself, what the hell was that? So I started to grow a little bit of an intrigue, and I decided, you know what? Same time, I'm gonna sit at this window, and I'm gonna stare. I'm gonna stare into the sky and see if I see this light again. So I sit and I wait and I wait and I wait, and there's no light. I end up falling asleep in the chair, and I wake up and I see the light, and it's just sitting there. The light is just like it's just sitting right outside of the window, and I don't remember hearing any sound. Nothing. It was just like an orb, just sitting there. And when I went to, I guess, investigate what this light was, it sped off. That's when I knew something was up. I was like, okay, this is crazy. At this time, drones were not popular, so I knew it wasn't that. Plus, drones, they make this noise, like you can hear the propellers, and it was way too big to be a drone, anyways. So I sit there and I'm like, I'm confused at this point. I'm wondering to myself, like, is this one of those really really weird dreams that it feels way too real? And I wasn't dreaming; it was real. Sit in the window for a little longer and wondering to myself, will this thing come back? It doesn't come back. I go to sleep, start my day, the next day, come back from work, go about my business. I kind of forgot about it. I didn't really think about it. And I'm watching TV. I'm by the window. I'm just watching TV. And I see the light again. But this time, it shoots over. At this time I lived on the last floor, so I had a really really good view. And it just kind of shoots over the building. And I'm sitting there like, okay, that was odd. There was no stopping. There was no. It wasn't a slow pass by. It was literally like lightning. It shot right over. The light shined into my window, and went off about its business. I immediately thought, okay, this is happening. This is occurring every night. What the hell's going on? So this night, I'm sitting in the window earlier than I usually sit in the window, and I'm wondering to myself, okay, you're gonna come because you've been passing by every night. Is this a me thing? Are you passing by because you want me to see what the hell's going on? And it passes over. But this time it was so close. I mean, I felt like it was in my living room. That's how close it was. And this night was crazy. The light comes the same way it does every night. And it takes a pause. Now, I'm going berserko when that thing passes by and it pauses right in front of me. I can't see anything, but it's just this big bright light. And the light disappears. It literally vanishes. It doesn't fly off. It doesn't go up. Doesn't go left, right, down, nothing. It just disappears. I turn around and there are this is gonna sound crazy, but there's 4 beings in my house. I'm unable to say anything, but they're talking to me telepathically, and they're saying, "You need to come with us. We've been visiting you nightly. You have been seeing us, but we were waiting for the right time for us to come and take you away." And I can't say anything back to them. I'm unable to open my mouth. And the next thing you know, I am aboard whatever ship it was. I didn't get to see the shape of the ship, and they took me into this ship, and immediately this tall being, I mean, he had to be like about 7'5", somewhere around there, and he was the tallest one. So automatically I assumed, like, this guy is the leader. This is the leader. And he pops open a Corona. And gives me the beer, and is just like, "I need you to relax." And he's actually talking. He's not doing anything telepathic. He's like, "I need you to relax." And as I'm grabbing the beer, I say, do I look like I'm scared? Or I'm shocked, but not scared. So he's like, "All right, cool. Do you smoke?" I'm like, "No, I don't, but I'll take the beer, though." So he hands me the beer. We walk down this huge, I mean, like, the spaceship was, like, actually very, very big. So we walk down the spaceship, long hallway, and as I'm looking into each room that we're passing, I'm seeing other people. So I'm guessing they must have, picked up other people, and they're just sitting at tables. So, like, one guy was sitting at a table just chatting it up. Another guy was watching something on TV with this, these beings. I walked by one room, they were playing dominoes. I'm like, wow, this is like the greatest abduction ever. Like, I think that everybody should get abducted in this style. And we get to this guy's room, like where he stays. So he tells me right off the bat. He says, "Look, listen, I am the leader of of this species, and we just wanted to come down. We wanted to visit and tell you that Donald Trump is going to be the president in 2025. Remember, this is the year 2000.